Thank you very much. There is only one international treaty which is known as Energy Charter Treaty, and which was lastly amended and revised and then consolidated in 2015. But Pakistan is not a signatory to that treaty or any other treaty on energy laws. Pakistan has signed general international contracts, bilateral contracts, foreign direct investment, and even the arbitration rules, for example, the conventions related to arbitration, for example, New York Convention, we are signatory to that, and we have ratified them as well. In Pakistan, these issues are generally dealt with under the terms of the contract, which is known as power purchase agreement, or the gas supply agreement, or fuel supply agreement. So these contracts basically govern the disputes, and the terms accordingly are settled between the parties. They select a governing law to deal with their basic substantive disputes and the terms of the contract, and then in the arbitration clauses, which we can call as arbitration agreement, they also select the law applicable for the resolution of their arbitral disputes, as well as the procedural law to govern the procedure of the arbitration. One such example is the selection of LCIA rules these days, and earlier it was the selection of ICC rules, under which Pakistan had referred the matter to the arbitrations at the international level. The example under which Pakistan underwent the arbitrations at the international level, but under the general rules, for example, the case of car Aerodynamics, where the dispute emerged from the rental power contract, and that was eventually turned into an interstate dispute and was filed under exit, and then was decided accordingly. So that is how this basic scheme of law and the contracts and international conventions govern these things. Well, that is because of the different power policies. Pakistan promulgated its first known power policy in 1994, which is called the Power Policy in 1994, and then we gave a policy in 2002. That the first power policy, which came in 1994, was basically targeted to engage the direct foreign investment. So being the FDI and being expected, there was state disputes could have been there. So at that stage in time, the contract was drafted to say that any arbitration would be taken under the exit rules. And in case an award would not be enforceable, then it would be under the ICC rules. Subsequently, in 2002, when Pakistan decided and the government said in a policy that the local indigenous fuel would be preferred and the investor from Pakistan would be given the priority, I still remember the secretary to the Ministry of Water and Power, as it was at that time, he said, we had brought back the arbitration to Pakistan. And for that, they selected the LCIA rules in the first instance, and if that application of those rules would not result in an enforceable award, then they decided that it would be under the United Nations UNCITRAL rules. So that is how there is a shift apparently because of the policy change at the back. All the disputes in Pakistan under the energy contracts are basically three stages. The first stage is that the parties have been advised to go for negotiation, which is a level between the chief executives. They have to sit within a given time period in order to attempt for a resolution and to avoid the dispute from being before the mediators, experts, or the arbitrators. If that stage fails, then as a second step, there was a provision under the 1994 power policy, those power purchase agreements which were signed under under that policy, to mediate by an expert. That provision for mediation was replaced with a new provision under the power purchase agreements. Those were executed under the Power Policy 2002. And the new provisions say determination by the expert. So there is a shift from the mediation to the determination by expert. And if even that stage fails, then as a final stage, there is the provision which says now you have to arbitrate, and again there is a timeline in which you have to take the matter to the arbitrator.